Hello, and welcome to Mystic Ashram. Today I'm here with my friends, the twins, provided by the Parker's Astrology book. I have no idea whether this book is still in print or not. However, it is one of my favorite books because of the visuals. So, Gemini is a sign which is so fascinating to me. So much mercurial energy. Mercury is so much a part of Gemini. And that whole communication thing. Now, some people may accuse Gemini of being, oh, perhaps flaky. Not I. No, no, I understand. There's just a lot going on. Things are complicated. And there's a lot of ways of looking at just about every issue, and it would just take too much time to explain. I understand. So I think everyone who loves and resonates with Gemini understands. So Gemini is charismatic. Think Marilyn Monroe. Um, but I haven't really mentioned celebrities here as I've gone through the signs. So why did I with Gemini? Well, Gemini is all about the media. They're all about the communications, and they've got a star power from inside. They just resonate with that Sam. Um, and they're fun and always entertaining. You know that wherever they are, there's got to be something happening. Um, and they're good sources of news. There's so much going on with Gemini. But, Gemini cannot be contained. They're like the wind. Yes, they must keep on moving, and, they just wouldn't be themselves if they didn't keep on moving and keep that information fresh. So agate is a Gemini gemstone, and, a long time ago, they used to say in poetry that someone's eyes burned like agate. That tiger striped jewel. Agate can occur in a lot of colors. It's generally like a crystalline color, like a quartz crystal, but then it has kind of a striking color of, say, red or green or gold or something just jutting through it. So, very spontaneous kind of looking jewel, and very light, bright. So, talking birds, especially parrots and parakeets, are ruled by Gemini. So, that intellectual brightness, they say that the brightest parrot species is the African gray. So, and parrots need a lot of stimulation in order to stay happy. Lavender, anyone who has ever enjoyed the bathing or the smell of lavender knows that what a stimulant, how much that wakes you up is that lavender. So really get the communication ball rolling with the energy. Lily of the Valley is an Gemini flower with those little bells, rings on her fingers and bells on her toes, and she shall have music wherever she goes. Those bell-like flowers, because they are bell-like, and you would expect them to make noise like Gemini. This ruling planet is Mercury. The animal is the monkey, which is quick-witted, full of tricks. And if you know the Chinese zodiac sign for the monkey is very intellectual, very fun, great sense of humor, never takes themselves too seriously. Monkeys are always a joy to have on the team. The two stars represent the sign's duality, so two stars. Colors, the of all the colors, Gemini has the closest affinity with yellow. I would say that this also extends to gold. So, golds and yellows are your color, definitely. Now, it reminds me of the wings, the gold wings, which are on Mercury's shoes in mythology. So flowers, lily of the valley, lavender, and myrtle also are all. Bog myrtle is a Gemini type thing. Myrtle used to be much more prevalent in the Middle Ages than it is now. The trees ruled by Gemini are those that bear nuts. So, wow. Any tree that is nut bearing, I guess that would include coconuts. These are Gemini things, so it makes more of itself. Of course, it's a Gemini thing. And then countries and cities. Wales is considered Geminian, and its capital city of Cardiff is also ruled by that sign. So, maybe you would like to consider going to Wales. I know that they use a lot of double consonants in their alphabet in Wales, and so doubles, always a good thing for Geminis. Um, with Geminis, they are some of the best flirts. They understand that flirting and attraction is really in the mind. They are excellent counsel. They are fun to have around as friends and allies. You would not want to get on the about wrong side with Gemini because they would probably spend they'd already have a plan of what would happen down the road, already hatched out. It would be perfect for, being snubbed or something. Eventually, it would come back around and they'd be there. Um, Gemini works best when they have an entourage. They It's not a Leo thing with the entourage where they're in the spotlight, but they enjoy being part of a clique, part of a group, part of a social thing. If they have siblings, they will socialize with their siblings as though their siblings were their entourage when they tag along all together as a group. You wouldn't really know that they're all related, but they hang out as a friendship machine. And Geminis generally understand a lot more what's going on in the dynamics of a large organization than almost anybody else. They would make great human resources managers, super good lobbyists for noble causes. They As long as you respect their limitations, you can also tune into their brilliance because we're talking some dynamic intellectual energy. Um, all this being said, Gemini always wants somebody to teach them something they've never seen or expose them to something new. They're not usually happy with the mundane. And so they always need a constant um, new aspect, new dynamic, new place, new frontier to explore. If you happen to be part of photography, journalism, writing, these sorts of dynamic intellectual pursuits will appeal to somebody Gemini in your life. And it might be enough for them to spend more time with you if you have so much going on. Now, Geminis also have a talent for knowing fashion. Fashion. years, decades ahead of its time, not from the eccentric, futuristic vantage of other signs, though, from a perspective of someone who is of their time perfectly. They know their time, and they strike while the iron's hot. They just have that sense of style. So those good-looking cars, those that beautiful wardrobe, that perfect photo appearance, that ability to speak the line iconically, these are very Gemini. Um, Now, in my experience, Geminis get spooked easily. It's a thing where their imagination runs wild and you push them past their limits of, say, sociability or privacy or any number of things. It's just past what they can do. Overwork, you could say. There is a psychic thing for Geminis where they can just come to a conclusion. They can come to an answer. They make excellent analysts and advisors for this reason. If you've got a problem that stumped everybody, go to a Gemini and let them just have some coffee for 36 hours, and they'll figure it out. They'll get it done. They like a good challenge that's abstract and intellectual because it isn't emotional. Now, mucky, emotional, deep stuff, that is not a Gemini thing. That they don't like that. It's difficult for this reason to really settle down into a domestic family life unless it has an unusual aspect of, say, travel or exotic locale. Um, Maybe a different perspective in terms of child rearing, in terms of day-to-day survival that may give enough interest and challenge and intellectual diversity for Gemini that it might keep them more grounded in the moment. But um, uh, Geminis do get emotionally scared. They get scared of a commitment. They get scared of being weighed down. They get scared of having to make a promise and stand by it, come thick or thin. These kinds of things, they're just not a good Gemini kind of thing, because Geminis like freedom. They more than intellectualism, they like the ability to play with the ideas, to explore the new ideas, to to build off of their old ideas and merge them and combine them and influence. They like influencing a lot. It's better to be the second in command than the leader, because the second who says, I second that. I second that nomination, or I totally agree, or whatever. They actually recognize this as having more power than the leader who has to make the grand speeches and whose face is out there and everyone recognizes. They recognize the power of the person behind the throne who backs up that leader, and is there when the crucial moment comes down to it. That is a Gemini who is ripe for the moment. Um, Geminis uh, might blame themselves because they have ADHD or ADD or attention spans which they can't control sometimes. But it's better to see it as a broadcasting radio signal they pick up on and just see where they go with it. In terms of the feeling trapped and having panic attacks because of the minutest emotional, deep commitment, Um, that is something that Geminis can work through and will work through. It's part of the Gemini life span, and a recognition of what this attachment barrier, attachment issue kind of is rooted in, or what it is conversely that really helps you build attachment. That can that can really help you, Gemini, from maybe getting distracted when you don't want to get distracted, or from missing out on something that that might make you feel claustrophobic, but it might make you feel also something new. It might expand your horizons. It might be the answer you're looking for. It might be the information you crave. I can think of so many great times I have had with Geminis, memorable times, which for some reason I always wanted them with other signs, but as well. But somehow the magic of Gemini to seize the moment, to have a special time one on one with someone and create a special memory, it just happens for Gemini. They are able to know that moment when you swing dance, or when you tango, or in the parking lot at 2 a.m., or when you help somebody when they're crying and you give them a special hug, and it changes their life. Geminis are there to save people and to rescue kitties, and to um, pick up the communication lines when the communication lines are out and essential. And boy, do Geminis do their universal job. And at the end of the day, Geminis just need that soft nest to come back to, even though maybe they will always fly away. But someone out there can create a feathered nest that those Geminis can sing in. So those parrots, I think of those parrots of Telegraph Hill that bond with other parrots. They are a couple, and they fly with the troop, and that sort of flying with the troop, but being bonded, and having being individual of each other and able to fly apart, and then speaking your psychic language, come back together. This is so Gemini, so Gemini. So I think of somebody who is hosting a show, and someone else who is doing the camera behind the scenes, and they go to such remote places that no one else would ever dare go there. But together, they're not afraid. And that's the sort of Gemini excitement and adventure that can really capture someone's heart, and make it so that, yeah, maybe I could see myself being a little more committed. Maybe I could see myself actually, um, you know, uh, having a meeting, not just a meeting of the minds, but a melding of the minds with a special group, and a special individual. So I sincerely hope that this has helped you in your circle network of friends. And I should let you go, Gemini, because I know that there's so much that's always going on for you. Probably lots of invitations and text messages coming in right now for you as we speak. So thank you for spending this late night with me. And I hope that it has brought you healing and goodness, and some positive things to think about, Gemini, for sure. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and let's keep those lines of communication open because you're good for the whole planet. You have a lot to do with medicine and with bringing about amazing informational change here on Earth, being our node, our axis mundi of communication. So thank you, Gemini, and we'll talk to you very, very soon. If you were curious about what uh, particular area of the body Geminis rule over, it is the hands. It is the generally thought to be the hands. There are two of them. They do a lot. They are very active, very mercurial, very Gemini. So I will talk to you all soon. And thank you for joining me here at Mystic Ashram. Signing off. Appreciate it. Many blessings.